Hi there, I'm making part 2 now of this Pioneer M-22 Class A amplifier. Right, it's been a bit of a learning process this, but basically when I put it on my lamp, my lamp ascended at full, so it seemed to be like a short circuit in there. And if you see my last video on this, I thought these capacitors were short circuit, or at least some of them were. Well, what I had to do is I took out all these capacitors individually and measured them, and I found out that my LCR meter here will only handle up to 20,000 microfarads, whereas the capacitors in here are 33,000. So this was outside the range of my trusty DER meter. I've never really worked with capacitors of this size before, so this has been a learning curve. What you need to do with these is take them out, you charge them with a constant current on your power supply, a very low constant current up to the voltage that they operate at, and then you see if they can hold that charge, go away, see how long they can hold it, and you've got to scope the charging curve on the oscilloscope. Anyway, I was advised by somebody who works on high power supplies to charge them up to 35 volts, which is what they're rated at, and with a 50 milliamp constant current going into them. But basically these are so rare, these capacitors, and so expensive that I didn't do that. What I did is I charged them up with a much lower voltage to see whether they were taking a charge and holding on to it. So I did that, but on a lower voltage, and I'm convinced that all of these capacitors are fine, so I've put them back in there again. I was reading a lot of stuff online from all sorts of sites, and this circuit here is responsible for the inrush current. And I don't know if you can see that. These ceramic capacitors at the front, there's 3 of them there that are severely blistered. This isn't any sort of manufacturing glue, they're actually leaking. So when I take this board out and have a look, I reckon that I'm going to find that these are out of tolerance and need to be replaced. These diodes here, which are part of the inrush circuit, they get extremely hot, and you can see that the circuit board has been burnt there. I want to check all those, and maybe if there's enough space I might stand them off from the board a bit, but I might actually replace all of these diodes as well, even though they may not be faulty, because they shouldn't really be mounted directly to the board like that. Really, they should be standing up slightly on their feet. Obviously check all the resistors here, all the transistors, all the electrolytics, although they're Nippon chemicals, so they generally have an operating life of around 10,000 hours, so they're probably all right. I don't really want to change things willy-nilly, because obviously if I do that you can alter the sound characteristic. Nippon Chemical are really one of the best makes there is, the most longevity anyway. But this is what concerns me. These here, this is supposed to be a 122 microfarad 160 volts non-polar capacitor, but it's been replaced in the past here with a couple of 10s in parallel, making 20 microfarads at 160, and they are bipolar and they are Nippon chemical. I don't think this was done at the factory, although I stand to be corrected on that. Maybe it is because they're the same make. But yeah, so this, I've measured this with my meter. It should be reading 20 microfarads. It's reading 5 point something, so these are definitely out of spec. The ESR is very high as well on these, so this is all part of the inrush current circuit. And the reason why there was arcing on the coils is because the inrush circuit was so much, and it was, my lamp was full brightness. So basically I blame these blistered capacitors here, and I blame this as well. So these are all going to be replaced. All of these other components are going to be tested, the transistors, everything, and hopefully I should actuate a repair. But yeah, it's very interesting, this one, and I've learned a lot. So yeah, it's always a learning process, but because I've never worked with this size of capacitors, I wasn't expecting a short circuit across there, but it was only showing up shorted because they were partially charged by my meter. So also I've got to remember that this won't do capacitances above 20,000 hertz. So yeah, there's a few things I've learned here, but there we go. Thank you very much for watching, and please like and subscribe, comment, feel free to comment. And yeah, if you've got anything that you need repairing that maybe other service centers have given up on, or, you know, quoted you ridiculous amounts of money for, I'm up and running now, fully up and running. I'm going to be hopefully moving out of this tiny little premises and going to a bigger unit soon, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to get all the work in. So thank you very much for watching.